everyone, welcome back. My name's Nina. I'm a life transformation coach, and today I am going to be answering more of the questions that you have sent in. Thank you so much for your feedback on the last questions and answers video. It seems like you really like the format, and I do also, so that's going to really enable me to answer many more of your questions, so I'm really excited about it. The questions that I wanted to answer today both have to do with a video that I made a long time ago called Attention-Seeking Behavior on Social Media. I will go ahead and link that down in the description box below, just in case you haven't seen it. But the two questions that were asked were, the first one is, how can I really know if I am engaging in attention-seeking behavior? And the second one is, how can I stop attention-seeking? Now, both are great questions, and I will certainly answer them both. But first, let's just talk about really what attention-seeking behavior is, in case you aren't familiar with it. So basically, with attention-seeking behavior, we are either consciously or unconsciously looking for attention or for approval from other people. We're basically looking for external validation. So in the video, I go over the different ways that we might be doing this specifically on social media, but I also give the caveat that most people do engage in attention-seeking behavior every once in a while, and it's not necessarily inappropriate, and it's certainly not always problematic. So the question then is, how can we know if it is problematic and something that is a cause for concern? And the answer I have for that really comes down to our motivation. So we need to think about when we are about to make that post, when we are about to, share that story, we need to ask ourselves why we are doing this. Are we doing this because we genuinely just want to share our life? Or are we hoping for a specific reaction? Is there something that we hope to get from this? Is there someone specific that we want to react in a certain way? And really, when we answer that question for ourselves, we're going to know that we are either doing it for a reason of just sharing, or we are truly attention seeking. And when it's problematic is when we are doing this habitually, when we are on a regular basis, specifically making posts or sharing stories or whatever it is, because we do want validation from other people. And the reason why this is problematic is because we are really outsourcing our self-esteem. We are looking for other people to judge whether or not we are successful or attractive or doing well. And basically, we are asking other people to validate that we are worthwhile as a person. Now, in reality, of course, we want that validation to come from ourselves. But if we've gotten into the habit of really making these posts so that we can get that attention and validation from other people, that's when we can know that we are truly engaging in that attention-seeking behavior. So if we realize then that, yes, I'm definitely taking part in this behavior, we can move on to the second part of the question, which is, how can I learn to stop attention seeking? And firstly, I want to say that we have to not be too hard on ourselves right now if we realize that this is something that we are engaging in, because we are in a culture that is completely encouraging this and reinforcing this, and everyone else around us is really doing the same thing. And so it can be something that is difficult to address, because a lot of times we don't even see it because it seems normal right now. But if it is something that we spot, that is wonderful, because we can certainly learn to address it. And this is important because even if the validation that we are really getting is extremely positive, even if we're getting lots of likes and shares or whatever it is, we have to realize that at some point it's not going to be positive. It's not going to be the fact that every single time we post something we get this positive reinforcement. There's always the possibility of negative reinforcement. There's always a possibility that there's going to be a negative reaction, and we don't want to have a dagger to the heart because someone didn't like our post or didn't agree with what we were saying or didn't give us the validation that we've become so reliant on. So really, when we are allowing other people to judge how we are feeling about our own self, we really become very powerless, and we don't want to be that way. We want to take our power back. So the first thing that we can do is to learn to recognize the behavior. And that's something that if you're watching this and you really identify with everything that is being said, probably you have done already. And that is key. So we need to notice that this is happening. So we need to think about, before we post something, we want to think about, why am I doing this? And take a step back and really look at our motives and let that determine whether or not we should actually make that post, because we really don't want to continue to reinforce the behavior. So the second thing that we need to do is to start to curb the behavior. We need to reduce the amount of times we are doing this. Eventually we want to stop it altogether, but that may be a process. We have to understand that this is actually a habit, and it's something that we've been unconsciously doing probably for years and years and years. So this is something that may take a little time to kind of step away from. So we just want to maybe even put a post-it on the computer, or a reminder on your phone to think about what you're posting and why, and to stop yourself from making that post. And you may really want to, especially if it's, a picture of yourself that you feel looks really great. It's not that you shouldn't post the picture of yourself looking great. You want to make sure the reason that you're posting it isn't because you need someone else to respond in a certain way. So if it's something that just makes you proud and makes you happy to share, that's one thing. But if it's a situation where you are really needing to get a very specific reaction from others, you want to step away from making that post, and you want to start posting these things less and less until you can eventually break that habit altogether. And lastly, and this is kind of the hardest part, but it is the most important part, we want to look for healthier ways to boost our own self-esteem. We want to look for ways that we can learn to validate our own self. And this is something that I also made a video about, so I will go ahead and post that down below. But we want to actually break the habit of needing that external validation, because when we can learn to validate ourselves and have our own self-esteem that is not reliant on anyone else, we become so much more confident and so much more strong and so much more authentic. Because without realizing it, a lot of times when we are attention seeking, we are designing what we are posting to be appealing to other people, which is in many cases not what is necessarily appealing to us or interesting to us. We don't want to constantly need to think about what is going to be entertaining to other people, or make other people think we are one specific way. So when we are able to, again, break that behavior, we just become so much more authentic, and we can start to post whatever we feel like and whatever is really true to us. So there are really so many benefits to breaking this cycle, and you're going to feel so much more free once you do. So I really hope this is helpful for you, and please know that, again, you're not alone. If you are doing this, offer yourself so much self-love during this process and understanding, because we are human beings and it is normal to want to feel loved and appreciated and admired. These are all natural things to want to feel. We just want to find healthier ways to feel them, and we want to help ourselves to feel that way naturally. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like it, share it with someone else who may need to hear that same message today. Also, again, please keep sending in the questions. I really enjoy reading them, and being able to do this format will allow me to answer so many more of your questions. So again, keep them coming in. Do become a subscriber if you aren't one already. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I hope you have a truly amazing day. Take care, guys.